Greetings, One Players. I hope the start of February is treating you well. It's time for another The Legends Club show. Each week in February, we'll be introducing you to a world football legend, courtesy of The Legends Club, and getting deep down and not so dirty about what's happening in the world of football. Don't forget, still to come in February, after today's Crystal Ball show, where our legend gives us his predictions for the month of football ahead, we'll have the Junior Legends takeover. Always good to see the youngsters get to ask the Legends a question. We'll have our Wall of Zoom as well, where exclusively the Legends Club members can put their questions to our legend for February. And we'll also have a segment where we wrap things up at the end of the month, where we find out something about our legend that you might not necessarily know. And without any further ado, it's time to reveal who our legend is. It is none other. Well, the list is so long, I don't know where to start. Hartlepool, Liverpool, West Ham, Sheffield United, Everton, Liverpool and Everton, Sunderland, West Ham again, Millwall, Coventry and Luton, and of course most notably Scotland, for whom he scored a famous winning goal against England. It is a man I call Double C, cultured and combative, that rare mix when it comes to midfielders. Don Hutchison is with us. Don, great to have you with us live at the Legends Club this month. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm safe, I'm well, we've got football on, so everything's great. I'm just loving life at the moment. I mean, yes, we're going to get fans back in the stadium when we get out of lockdown. Football's going to be so much more better. I keep watching the old games of yesteryear, and I see the fans inside the stadium, and the humour and the atmosphere and the adrenaline and everything that they bring to the game. It's just not the same without them.
And of course, that brings us to the Legends Club and its benefits, because for just $15 a year, you can be a member of the Legends Club, and the benefits are plentiful. When things are back to normal, we'll be arranging trips to go over to the UK to watch a Premier League game with your favourite legend. And of course, the legends themselves, as Don has already mentioned, are looking forward to coming back here, where we'll be having special meet and greets for all our Legends Club members. There's WFL merchandise and a whole host of discounts available courtesy of our partners. And I must just run through the sponsorship deck, because we've got some big names part of this Legends Club. Of course, our official airline is Turkish Airlines. If you like your indoor driving range, the Clubhouse are on board. Le Noir, where I'm told this month to remind everyone it's ladies' night on Wednesday, so get down to Le Noir on a Wednesday if you're in Singapore. Magambos, Sahara, the best hummus in Singapore. Little League in Malaysia, one of the best football coaching courses in Asia is Little League in Malaysia. We've got Smith's Fish and Chips, the Exchange Bar, Muddy Murphy's, and of course our legal partners, the best lawyers in the business at Solitaire LLP. And I'm sure, Don, you remember a couple of those night spots. You must have been to the Exchange Bar here before.
Great nights. I mean, the atmosphere and, you know, the chance to mix with all the fans is great. And you get different fans. You get Man United fans coming up to you asking about Liverpool and this, that and the other, and how Man U would get top of the league again. And you get all the, you know, Spurs and Arsenal and all the different worries that fans have around the world watching on. And it's great, you know, because the lads love it. The lads love a drink, and we love to socialise, and we like our little group. But once we get in those sort of bars where the atmosphere is good, you'll quite often see the boys sort of go off in twos and threes and have a little chat and a mingle with fans. And I think it offers a great experience, not only for the fans, but for the likes of us as well. You get the chance to sort of pick their brains more so than sort of they're picking our brains. So it's a good mix and a great atmosphere.
Well, the Legends and the Legends Club members are missing it all so much. We hope it will be back. But in the meantime, we've got the next best thing with this fantastic Legends Club show. Now, before I try and put you on the spot, Don, with some predictions for what's coming up in February, a quick recap of the season so far, because, I mean, it is strange. It's different watching it. There's no question about that. But it is actually shaping up to be a fascinating title race, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible. And I think you get nervy. I mean, you know, when you're watching the sides that you want to win, and you know, we're all a little bit biased and we're all quite tribal. And when teams that you don't want to win, they're playing, you get nervous, because I've never known a season like it, because every single big team that are going into games, you feel as though they're vulnerable. I mean, Liverpool are having a little wobble at the moment. Tottenham on match day one, Everton bopped them off the pitch, and I thought Tottenham could never be in a title race. Then they won a few games, they were back in it. Then they drew a couple and they were back out of it again. Now they've won 2 or 3, they're back in it. Same as Everton as well. Everton started like a house on fire, then they lost a few, then won 4 on the spin. They were sitting then in second. Yeah. Man U's away form's just been sensational off the back of the worst home form in close to 50 years. So the whole league is just phenomenal to watch. And, you know, trying to pick predictions is making us, you know, pundits and analysts look really, really tricky at times. And they're so hard to call these games because they're so close.
Yeah, it seems like only yesterday Villa were top, and all of a sudden you blink and now they're down in 11th. It really is incredible, which brings us to some of the highlights of the early part of February's games. It's difficult because as we record this, we're still, I'm not going to, make anyone surprised here. We're still about a week out plus from some of these games, but it's not easy for you, but I'm going to put you on the spot. 11th place Villa as we record against 10th place Arsenal. And again, people were talking about Arsenal in a relegation battle 2 weeks ago. Now all of a sudden they haven't conceded a goal, I think, in the whole of January. They're up to 10th and on a big roll. What do you see happening when Villa take an Arsenal? Because, of course, the reverse fixture was a big turn-up.
Oh, that is a tough one to call. I mean, the team I like watching is Aston Villa at the moment. I think they're a good side. I think they've got some fantastic players. Relationships between Ross Barkley and John McGinn and Jack Grealish, they look sensational. And Arsenal, even though they're getting the right results, they're still not convincing. The Chelsea win was big for them, which put them on a good run. But they've just been a little bit laboured of late. So it's a difficult one to call. But if I'm going to side for anyone, I think I'd side just for a Villa win.
Oh, that's an interesting one because Arsenal's defensive record has been very good and Villa have been much solid defensively this season. Now, that game is on the 6th of February. Also on the 6th of February, it's going to be a big day. I think the 6th of February could be pivotal for the season. Liverpool, Man City, probably the game of the entire month. Liverpool, as we speak, 5 games without a win. If I'd have told you this time last year that Liverpool would go in January 2021, 5 games without a win, no one would have believed you. And Man City, despite coming up with some bizarre results this season, like that Leicester game right at the start of it, they've become winning machines again. So this is a huge match. Will be the biggest game of the season so far.
Oh, this is the one where I think you sit back, you buy a bucket of popcorn, you sit back and you just turn your phone off. You don't get on social media. You just watch the game because you know this is a classic. It always has been over the years because the tempo and the quality and the stylistics of both teams always make for a good watch. I don't think any manager will try and go into it for a draw. Yes, there's tactics involved, but it always sort of grows a feeling of its own, the game. Once it grows into the game, you get past 5 minutes and it always makes for a great game to watch. City are the form horses, I think, at the moment. I think they're starting to get back to the City of old where they struggled at the start of the season. Ruben Diaz and John Stones, I think, have been brilliant as a pair, and that's why they're keeping lots of clean sheets. So I expect a great game, but I probably expect something like a draw, and that's not sitting on the fence, but I expect a 1-1 or a 2-2.
I'm just going back in my memory bank. That 1-1 draw, that was a decent game, that 1-1 draw when they met at the Etihad earlier in the season. That game could easily have finished 4-4, but somehow there was only a couple of goals in it. So that's definitely a date for everyone's diary. Wolves against Leicester. Now, Wolves are one of those teams that all of a sudden, having looked like they were Premier League regulars, they're getting dragged into a relegation clash. And you talked at the start of this little bit, Don, about the title race being wide open. You couldn't rule Leicester out at this stage, could you? They're third as we record this.
No, you can't, because Brendan Rodgers is a good manager and he knows exactly what he wants from his team. His tactics are always great. He can flip between, 4 at the back and having a back 3, attacking players. He's got players that are really underrated. People like Tielemans and Mark Albrighton's one of my favourites. People have tried to come into this Leicester side over the last 2 or 3 years, and Mark Albrighton was always the one that the fans thought they were going to be, or he was going to be shifted on. But he keeps bouncing back. He keeps forcing his way back into the side. Jamie Vardy, if they keep him fit, is an unbelievable centre forward. And wherever you look, people like Harvey Barnes and Maddison, they've got sensational players, young players that are hungry and full of confidence. And when you're a young player and you're playing well, you don't fear anyone. It's when you get older and you take a few knocks and you're scarred sometimes, the big games can hurt you. But I think Leicester win this one. Wolves don't see the same without Raul Jimenez. I like Silva up front, but he's still learning his trade. So I'd probably go for a Leicester win 3-1.
And last in terms of the fixtures, let's fast forward to the middle of the month. So it's quite some way out. So it's a difficult task to ask you to predict. But again, Leicester against Liverpool, that could well be first against second. You never know when that spins round on the day before Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I think this fixture's always been kind to Liverpool, though. I think when they come back from the Club World Cup last season, they had a hectic schedule and they come back from the Club World Cup and everyone thought, Leicester, the game after in the Premier League, that'll find Liverpool out. I think they beat them 4-2 or 5-2. They battered them and it was quite easy. It could have been 7 or 8. So I think this fixture has always been kind for Liverpool, and I see Leicester giving them a good game, but I think Liverpool come out on top. I would say 2-1 winners.
OK, and last but no means least, let's go through a couple of the other long-term ones. Who are your champions as we stand now, get into the business end of the season where it can be won or lost? Who are going to be your champions come, well, we hope it'll be May?
Yeah, I'd love it to be Liverpool. Obviously, I haven't played for the football club and I'd love them to retain the title, but I've just got a feeling it's going to be Man City. I think they're the form horses. They look the most settled, have not really got any massive injury worries. You see the knock-on effect from Jordan Henderson going out of Liverpool's midfield and playing centre-half, which you can do very easily. Him and Fabinho are a good partnership.
Okay, I think we might just have a bit of interruption on the Zoom there, but I'll just remind our Legends Club members who are, of course, watching this, don't forget when you log on to the Legends Club Zoom wall, please do put yourself on mute. Now, teams to go down, obviously it's looking tough for Sheffield United, but I mean, again, first couple of weeks of the season, I thought Fulham were going to be like some of those teams in years gone by, the likes of Swindon, Derby County. All of a sudden, they've managed to string a couple of big results. So I'm not going to ask you to give me all three, but outside of Sheffield United, give me one team you think that will go down.
No, I'm pretty confident. I mean, Fulham have had a resurgence. I think they've been great the last couple of weeks. And Scotty Parker in this January window is trying to get shot of some players just to trim their squad. But I do feel as though it's going to be Sheffield United, Fulham and West Brom in whatever order. I think Brighton have got too much to go down. I think Newcastle, who I support, I think we've got one or two wins in the bag always to take us away from that bottom three. So I'm pretty confident that'll be the bottom three.
Okay, and last but not least, I know football pundits and ex-professionals don't like to talk about this, but again, the time we go to air with this in a couple of weeks' time, one of these men might already have lost their job, but they're leading the sack race at the moment, Frank Lampard at Chelsea and Steve Bruce at Newcastle. If you had to say which one of those was in greater peril, which one would you go for?
Oh, I think it would be between Steve Bruce and a good friend of mine, Frank Lampard at Chelsea. Listen, he knows he's under pressure. Frank's an intelligent man, and he's not being brought into Chelsea just to finish top four. They need to be getting a lot closer, especially with the money they've spent and the likes of Kai Havertz and Ziyech and the star players like Timo Werner that's been brought in. So they need to bridge the gap quickly. And I hope he succeeds, Frank, because he's a real intelligent guy. He knows what he wants from the football club. He won't panic, that's for sure. But he needs a couple of wins just to get everyone off his back, just so his players can relax, basically. Because I see a team at the minute that's playing with a sort of handbrake on and a lack of confidence. But if Newcastle keep losing games, I think it's going to be Steve Bruce.
Interesting. Of course, we know from the compact nature at the top and to a certain extent the bottom of the table, 2 or 3 results, and it can be all changed. So Frank Lampard's still in there pitching at time of recording this. As always, Don, an absolute pleasure. I know you're going to be with us for the rest of the month. Don't forget, next week on the Legends Club, it'll be the Wall of Zoom, where you, the Legends Club members, just $15 a year, and one of your special privileges is to be able to dial in live to the Legends Club show every month on One Play Sports, watch it being recorded live, and speak to Don. Those Legends Club members will get their chance on our show next week. Of course, the week after that, it's my favourite one, which is the Junior Legends, which always like to put our legends on the spot. Young Vivan, Ryan and Charles are standing by in the Junior Legends Club dugout this month. And then we wrap things up at the end of February with a little bit of a personal chat to say goodbye to Don, thank him for being with us this month, and maybe cover some of the subjects that our Junior Legends and our Legends Club members didn't get to. But for now, Don, thanks for being with us. We'll see you later in the month. Stay safe, stay well, everybody. And don't forget to keep liking, sharing, following, commenting on Facebook and subscribing on YouTube to One Play Sports.